All right, folks, welcome back. September 28th, shy of 1:30 p.m. Anybody that stays tuned to the channel and somehow or another likes my scenarios and explanations on things, press pause. Go to the store, get a 12er, maybe a bottle of wine, or put on a pot of coffee because we got a little bit to cover here. Press pause. All right, play again. Here we are. You can wish and hope and plan all you want. And 9 times out of 10, it'll work for you if you're doing your part. Yeah, my scenario here didn't work out. Number one, cutting any product of any kind, disc binding, whatever you want to call it, is done for the year of 2021, just as of 2 minutes ago. Pardon me for not taking a video, an action video with the C400. Okay, so let's start from square one here. This venture was supposed to start on Sunday. Sunday we had a magical 3 hours, 4 hours of moisture that came down, which actually was very pleasant. So that scratched Sunday. I went after everything yesterday. I attempted to. I only got as far as the grassy alfalfa field. I never should have cut it. Never. And I'm going to give you my grand finale answer after I'm done with all my jibber jabber on all of this. I never should have cut it. I started. I finished it. I didn't get much off of here. In fact, I didn't even wrap it. It all got brought to the farm last evening. It was actually a perfect scenario. Everything and everyone was out of feed. They got half of it last night. They got the other half this morning. Yesterday was not a pleasant day. Very frustrating. I'm not going to use the word disappointing yet. So, as it turns out, as we speak, I cannot cut down a product prolifically with the disc bind to bale it the next day, whatever crop it is. Peas and oats, sorghum, that's a 3-day affair. Alfalfa baleage. I cannot cut down a proper windrow. I call it a teepee windrow. That, of course, if it's sorghum, a beautiful, maybe about a 4-foot windrow. I can't lay down a proper windrow with this disc bind. There's no scenario that you can comment on, which I respect, that I have not tried. This venture started at 10 a.m. yesterday morning. And I went all day in frustration. Yes, the side deflector wings all the way in. Of course, they're not now, because I'll tell you why. Side deflector wings all the way in. Top deflector, of course, all the way up. You know the scenario. I couldn't make a windrow would not be shot out of there within minds of not being picked up by merger, which I won't take that as an excuse, or a rake job, which is, I'm not taking that as an excuse. Nothing could be done to make that proper windrow. I tried everything, everything. There's nothing you can say that I didn't try. This beautiful disc spine will not put down a Baleage windrow. There, that's how I'm going to say it. It will not do it. The wings fold into 61 inches. Now that's not bad, because the wings, of course, are pointed in like this. The product should come in a little closer. It's not going to be 61 inches. Well, folks, it doesn't work that way, and I don't know what the hell the problem is. I had some 7-foot windrows out there, spread all over the place. It looked, in fact, it looked spitting image to what you're seeing here. It was a lighter product, the grassy alfalfa field, and I'm not going to take that as an excuse either, period. It was all over the place. So I put in my phone calls, my concern. What's the fix? What's the answer? Call your guru. What is the answer? Well, they're working on it. And they are. They are. So here's my 2 cents. There is only one answer to spit out and lay down a Bale-aged windrow. Make that make sense. It has nothing to do with what you're looking at here, not this machine. I've tried it all. My assumption, and of course an assumption, those can be tricky. My assumption is it takes different wings. Laugh if you want. That's all I've got. That's all I've come up with. That's all I've come up with. That it takes a different set of wings to be able to do what you're wanting to do. I'm expecting an answer within the next couple of days. If there's not a correct answer, if there's not some different wings that I need, which shouldn't be, but whatever, I'm not going into year 2022 with this display, period. This was my big year of corn silage, which deleted a lot of my baleage making. Next year is a big baleage year. I'll explain more of that. Alright, so that explains the disc spine and the problems that I'm having. What I had going on yesterday, extremely frustrating day. Absolutely dumbfounded. I didn't figure on having that as a problem. It didn't even register until I started yesterday, and it's maddening. Okay. So here's what I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and try and break a farm record, our farm record. I'm going after dry round baling here into what I'm just gonna call the 1st of October. We've got the weather to do it. Our morning dews are horrendous. They were this morning and yesterday. That dew burns off at about 10:15, 10:30 though. We've got the weather to where I'm probably going to double windrow rake all of this on Thursday, and I'm going to look to pick this up Friday late afternoon, Friday evening. There's not a significant amount of product here. There's a lot more than what was in the grassy alfalfa field, and it's, you know, thick as thieves with that pure rich alfalfa. If you had to ask me, I'd say I'd probably be looking at about 30 4x5s. I think that's safe, and that's what I intend to do. They're going to be solely reserved for the unstock lot this winter, after corn silage stops, which, yes, I fully intend to give the unstock lot a half a wagon of corn silage every other day until it needs to stop. And then they're going to get this nice rich alfalfa. I also got I got about 60 or 70 4x6s as well that come off this field. But I'm going to make some 4x5s. Okay, so as you see this right here, 9 out of 10 is possibly would say you got one hell of a nice harvestable crop here. Yes, we do, right here. The rest of the field we do not. The south half of this property is awful. It's not too bad, the product itself, but there's no height or growth to it. None. The only amount that you're really seeing is maybe right here, here, and a couple of low spots. It's not worth it. It's also not worth the damage that I will put on this plant health coming into winter. I'd have to really go for a ride, show you the south. Actually, forget about the south half. It's not just the south half. I mean, it's here as well. Remember, I've got a grand finale answer for a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about. Has to do with the decision that I made before spring, and I'm gonna go back on it. I'm going to tell you where the brunt of my problems come from. Now, let me make it very perfectly clear. I don't mind trying something new if it's for the greater good, as long as the possible repercussions aren't too drastic. Hell yes, I'll try it in that scenario. Last winter, early spring, I used the words quite a bit, back to basics. My back to basics in some areas have failed me. And there's no excuses, because Mother Nature was on our side this year to excel in everything. Everything. And yes, it's been a good, fair year. It could have been a hell of a lot better. Moral of the story is this. As long as I have a wrapper available for me to borrow, rent, or own, we're going to up the ante here. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. I will be going after alfalfa in high moisture baleage form in what I'm going to call the middle of June. I didn't do that this year. My words were back to basics, dry hay, dry hay, dry hay, corn silage. I'm glad I did it. A lot of it worked out. The timing scenario blew up in my face though. You need to understand something. The best I figure it, I waited an extra 20 days to start this operation of cutting things down, cutting everything down for dry hay matter. In fact, this field was my 4th of July field. This is where I was on the 4th of July. It cost me about 20 days in waiting for that opportune moment to go after dry haymaking. I'm going to tell you something, folks. 20 days to some of you watching may sound piddly. 20 days with the proper moisture and Mother Nature's help is huge. Huge. Astronomical with growing farm crops. I won't be doing that anymore. My first crop, alfalfa, will be coming off in baleage form from here on out, as long as I can help it. Let's just say come around that June 15th time frame. And then therefore, with Mother Nature's help, there's adequate time to be able to get a second crop and a healthy, lush third crop. I've been doing it every year for the last 4 or 5 years now. It's been proven. Maybe I needed to look at that a little harder instead. I don't frickin' know. Doesn't matter. What did happen is a lesson's been learned, and that's something to be happy about. So back to basics was a great idea. It's music to my ears. Believe it or not, I actually am a pretty basic person. But not in the scenario that I went about it this year. My alfalfa stands will be coming down every year starting next year around June 15th and wrapped baleage. Now, talk is cheap. Me personally, I don't put up with a lot of talk or listen to a lot of talk unless it's sitting right in front of me. Truth of the matter is, I had a pretty special treat here this year, folks. There is a 10-year-old wrapper, line wrapper, that's no more than 10 miles from here, that's shedded every hour of the day other than wrapping bales, and it's got no more than 600 or 700 bales that have gone through it. I've been speaking with this gentleman who's starting to slowly but surely liquidate some equipment, as he's getting up there in age. His ability is still there, but he's getting up there in age, and he's simplifying his program. So we had it all lined out for me to grab that bale wrapper for this program I've been speaking about for a great test. We're not going to call it a demo, a good test. And then for that wrapper to go straight back to him, and with a little bit of luck, because contrary to popular belief, it depends on, it depends on the markets, depends where things are sitting. With a little bit of luck, purchasing that wrapper in the spring of next year. Now that's still on the line. We're going to see what happens. That's about it in a nutshell, if you could keep up with all that mumbo jumbo. There's been some lessons learned here. And a big mystery that still has to get figured out. You're gonna have to pardon me for not putting on a video yesterday. There wasn't a chance in Hades I was gonna put a video on. Trust me, you didn't want to see that attitude yesterday. It wasn't fit for the devil himself. My only legitimate answer is that they make different wings that need to be put on, and I know how ridiculous that sounds, folks. Different wings to be put on to make that perfect windrow for baleage making. A windrow that you don't have to touch again. You don't need to merge it. You don't need to rake it. You just simply, in the case of alfalfa, you bale it the next damn day. Or in the case of sorghum, 3 days later, without rolling it over or touching it. I'm not going to take many excuses here. Thin product and everything else. Half of me, I guess, wishes I would have taken a video yesterday and showed you, but I wasn't in much of a mood. We'll see what happens. If this mystery cannot be figured out, if there is not an easy button answer for it, I cannot, will not, won't go into 2022 with this disc bind. I can't. I can't. Period. Period. So I hope those answers come sooner than later. What am I going to do? I don't know. I can guarantee I'll figure it out. I also need to get some answers on this clumping. Again, respectfully, save your comments. I've tried every single scenario. I did make this my afternoon today, solely and fully. In fact, I had a sandwich at 11 o'clock so I could come out here, and I took my time. I cut half of this last night, folks. A little better than half of it. I took my time and actually spent some time with the disc bind. My cheap, easy excuse is I got this thing late. I got this in the month of August, and it was go, 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 go time. Learn as you go. I don't like that. That's what I had to do. That's what I did. I ended up playing with a few other different things on the disc bind here today. One of the big significant differences is I kept playing with the spring tension, which can be a major player. Truth of the matter is, when this video is done, I need to tighten these up 2 rounds. But I know that there's probably a lot of you that can get away with it depending on where you are in this country. Well, I know that there is. It's a little different up here. I'm glad I tried, but shame on me for thinking that, you know, you can't prolifically, it's not imaginable to prolifically make dry alfalfa, you know, let's just say the latter part of June or early July. It's not too practical up here. It's just not. We get our good bout of weather, but it comes about mid-July going into August. That's when we get what I'm going to call that dead heat. So yeah, from this point forward, my alfalfa first crop will be done in baleage form. And that's all right. That's good. That's a good thing. So that was the good part of doing this test this year. It was a great lesson learned. And now we're going to do something with it and make a change. Go from there. So anyway, that's the last disc binding for the year. I'm going to end up putting this thing away here as soon as I get back, unhook from it. And I'm going to be waiting multiple days because we have multiple days of the weather that we were just out in. Pure sun, nice breeze, hellacious morning dew, but that'll get burned off by 10:30 in the morning. And right now the goal is to double windrow rake on Thursday. Today's Tuesday. Double windrow rake on Thursday by, let's just say, let's say 1:30, maybe 2 o'clock. And then if I need to touch it again, which I probably will have to, I'll touch it again with maybe the rotary on Friday, directly after lunch, and then probably go baling right after Friday evening chores. I can assure you it's a thinner product. I can assure you it's probably not going to be pristine moisture content. Dry alfalfa. It's going to be close, and if it's not, that's all right. We'll just call it a little bit of caramelization that's going to take place. A little caramelization without starting your bale yard on fire. Oh, folks, I'm heading back to the farm. Appreciate you hanging with me. If anybody's still watching, listening to my elementary scenarios and the way I kind of look at things, go about stuff. I got some jobs to do here before 4 o'clock, 4:30 chores takes place, and then I'm here to tell you right now, I'm going bird hunting this evening. I'm gonna leave the yard for a little while this evening, and not in a bad way, but in a good way. Celebrate that, today's the last day of cutting for the year. It's been a long year. It's been a real long year. It feels long. So that's it. I'm done gibbering. Folks, we're going to talk to you sooner and later. Have a great day.